Now, our correspondent in Abuja is Kayla Megwa, and she joins us from our Abuja studios. Good evening, Kayla.
Good evening, Ladi.
Let's begin with non-compliance, which has been more or less the story once you're not talking about Abuja city center. This time, you're reporting from Kubwa, right?
Yes, I am, and the visuals that you're about to see are pretty disturbing. This is early in the morning. The person who took that video is one of our cameramen. His name is Mr. Gbenga, and Gbenga actually took that video on his way to our 8 a.m. meeting in the office. So this is before any 10 a.m. when you're supposed to go to the market on 2 times during the week. This wasn't a day that people were supposed to be in the market anyway. That was a regular morning. And he just came out, and that was the holdup at the Kubwa Expressway. And that is not just in Kubwa. We're seeing that all over the city center. We're seeing that right now in the middle. Yes, I said cities, and not just the suburbs anymore. We're seeing that in the city center this time. We saw it today in Garki. We saw it as well in Lugbe, at AYA. And then we also saw it in Wuse as well. In fact, the security agents right now have their hands full. Today, especially, it was almost business as usual. I started wondering if the lockdown had been lifted because many people, for some reason, have decided not to listen to the sit-at-home order anymore. Now, they're not even adhering to the 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on particular days when you can go to the market. No, people are just running around and doing their own business. At the Kubwa Expressway, what they do is when, because the police have blocked the road, they try to find out who you are, where you're going to, you know, what urgent business matter you have to attend to. And they stand at places that have turns. So if you can see from the visuals there, there's a place that has like a turn back to Kubwa. So if they find that you're not qualified to be on route at that time, they turn you back. But the sheer number of people who are on the roads when there's supposed to be a sit-at-home order, especially with what we've been hearing recently about community spread of COVID-19. We're seeing this disease in communities, and it's people from these communities that are still moving around like this. It got a little better not too long ago, but it's suddenly gone really bad, Ladi.
That's on one side. The other point you raised yesterday had to do with insecurity in the suburbs. What's the situation now? Has that improved?
From what we're hearing from Kubwa, especially, because that was the first place where they sent us a report of an armed robbery that happened in broad daylight at Kubwa Phase 3. Now, the people in Phase 3 are saying that, yes, they can see more security operatives, you know, in their neighborhood, so they feel a little safer. But one thing that's been happening in places like Suleja and Lugbe is that the people who live in those areas have formed vigilante groups themselves to protect themselves from these people who are trying to rob at a time when people are staying at home. So the call is, of course, the security operatives are doing what they can, especially in Lugbe. They added additional security men in Lugbe, you know, to help, to join with the citizens who have formed vigilantes to protect themselves. But, you know, more needs to be done to protect people. And it's just a very disappointing situation, Ladi, where people are trying to grapple with the fact that they can't make any money right now. They're in a sit-at-home order. There's literally almost everyone is asking for money from everybody at this point in time, and we're trying to keep it together. But at this time, some miscreants are using the opportunity to rob people. And this is happening in Suleja, Lugbe, and like I told you earlier, in Kubwa Phase 3. At least those are the places where we've gotten a report. Yes, we also got a report from Maraba yesterday about robbery incidents happening in those areas. So yes, that's been going on. And they're asking for more help from security agents in the nation's capital.
Finally and briefly, the UNHCR, on a positive note, is bringing some relief to the IDPs. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, and it's one of many efforts. The UNHCR today delivered wash items. So we're talking hand sanitizers, soaps, face masks, and buckets. So they made all these presentations to the Refugee Commission here in the nation's capital. It was a 10-minute event. They just basically brought it out. The UNHCR woman was asking the government to include internally displaced persons and refugees in their action plan, you know, in whatever response they're doing, the government is doing to this disease. They're asking that IDPs and refugees and migrants be a part of the process. Well, the materials that were distributed today are going to be distributed to some states in the nation, And, you know, this is the first of 2 phases. Right, so this is the first phase of provisions that they're making available. They're going to make another set of wash items available for people who live in IDP camps in places like Cross River, in Benue, in Borno. You know, so those are the people that are going to be beneficiaries of these items that they've made available. And they say they're going to keep doing this over and over again. And that's just one out of many people who are trying to do what they can to supply as many of the required items for this period. So yes, the UNHCR did that today in the nation's capital.
Thank you very much, Kayla. Do keep safe out there as you go about this essential service. Thank you very much for that update. Our correspondent, Kayla Maguire from our studios in Abuja.